In this video, I'm going to cover Chapter 11, Controls for Information Security. In particular, we're going to look at the Trust Services Framework and also focus on controls that can be used to protect an organization's information. One basic function of the AIS is to provide information useful for decision making. AICPA developed a framework, which is called Trust Services Framework, that defines criteria for managing data based on 5 principles that are right in front of you: security, confidentiality, privacy, processing integrity, and availability. This framework helps to organize and ensure AIS reliability. The foundation of this framework is security. Security um, incorporates procedures that restrict physical and logical access to the system and data. Right? We want to make sure that this access is controlled and restricted to only legitimate users. Security also protects confidentiality, privacy, processing integrity, and availability. That's why security is so important. Once again, it is a foundation of the whole framework. But let's look at confidentiality. Confidentiality is basically protecting sensitive information of the organization. For example, company has blueprints or maybe some type of trade secrets and so on. So this information have to be kept confidential. Privacy is focusing on personal information about trading partners, investors, and employees. We want to make sure that within the AIS, this personal information of different parties that we work with is protected. Privacy. Let's look at processing integrity. Um, Organization has to make sure that data are processed accurately, completely, and in a timely manner with only proper authorizations. And finally, availability. System and information are available when it's needed. One way to look at trust services framework is this house essentially. Using an analogy of building a house, you need a good foundation, otherwise, the walls are going to fall apart. To keep roof over your head, you need to have well constructed walls. Similar for good system reliability, you need a good foundation of security, and walls are 4 pillars focused on maintaining good system reliability. And here you can see confidentiality, privacy, processing integrity, and availability. So all together as a system, it helps reliability of the organization information system. In terms of security lifecycle, right, there are 4 steps, but they are circular once again. So it's a life cycle of security. The first thing is assess threats and select risk response. When that is taken care of, then organization is going to develop and communicate policies to its employees, acquire and implement solutions, and finally monitor performance. And this is a cyclical process because new threats could appear. So we have to go through this process constantly. Moving on to 3 fundamental information security concepts. The first concept is that security is a management issue. Back in the day, a lot of times when our technologies were developing, security was kind of brushed off to IT personnel. But really, security is a management issue. It is overall organization issue because if security is not taken care of, if someone can break into our system, anything bad could happen, right? Trade secrets could be stolen, some information could be copied, some damages could be done to our system. So senior management involvement and support throughout all phases of the security lifecycle is absolutely essential. Okay. Also, people are critical factor. That's our second concept. People are critical factor because your people can be either a weak link or an important asset to an organization. How do we build this pool of important assets essentially? Well, we got to focus on a couple of different things, right? We want to make sure that we hire qualified people. We put them in the right positions. They know what to do, and we also train them. Training is a critical preventive control, as employees must understand and follow company security policies. Employees should be taught why security measures are important, training them not to open unsolicited emails and different attachments, only use approved software, never share passwords, physically protect laptops. All those are very important things, all right? In addition, I would say that training about social engineering and piggybacking is important because those things happen quite often. So training, training, training. Okay, very important. We have to make sure that we grow our assets. Okay, so the third security concept is the time-based model of information security. In this model, we're going to use the formula to evaluate if security procedures are effective. So we're going to implement a combination of preventive, detective, and corrective controls that protect information system long enough to enable the organization to recognize that it is under attack and take steps to thwart it before any information is lost or compromised. So how does this time-based model works? Okay, it uses a very simple formula, P greater than D plus C. All right, so let's look at the ingredients of this formula. P is the time it takes an attacker to break through preventive controls. So we want to make sure that this time is larger than D and C. D is the time it takes to detect an attack in progress, and C, respond to this attack, time that it takes to respond to this attack and take some corrective actions. Okay, so let's say it took an hour for the attacker to break through preventive controls. But it also took 1 day to detect that attack was in the process, right? So right there, I can tell that this is ineffective system, right? We want to make sure that our detection and our corrective response and corrective action takes as less time as possible. Okay. So effective controls would be if it takes an hour for the attacker to break into preventive controls, right? Maybe it takes 20 minutes to recognize that we're under attack and another 20 minutes to take response and corrective actions. So in this case, right, we have an effective model.